right, we're here with Coach Larry Strain of the Woodland Bobcats. Coach, how you doing today?
I'm doing very well.
Good, good. This week, y'all are going to be facing your first real region test. I know y'all faced a test against Bowden a couple weeks ago, but this is going to be the first time y'all really get to see one of the powers of your region in Fultondale. Talk a little bit about Fultondale, what y'all are expecting out of them this week.
Well, to start with, they're real athletic and they're big. And when you start talking about Fultondale, you might talk about the Stewart kid who's already committed to the University of Alabama. So he's just a heck of an athlete. He's got an arm on him. The biggest thing he's got a set of legs. He's able to run. I think they've tied him in the 4.3s and the 40. See and look at him in the film, and nobody can catch him. So that's one of the biggest problems that we got to face. But not just him. He's got several other guys that surround him. That he's got some receivers and some running backs, and his offensive line is big as well. And most of those kids play both ways, so they got them on both sides of the ball. So it's going to be a challenge for us.
Okay. How do you go about planning to defend an athlete like that, especially when he's got weapons around him, he's got a solid offensive line? How do you go about planning to contain that guy?
Well, you want somebody else to have to beat you other than him to start with. If you can control him to some degree, I know that he can always go to some of his other weapons, but you just can't let him run up and down the field on you if it's possible to stop him. I'm not saying that it is possible to stop him. Other teams have already played him this year and last year as well, and they had a hard time containing him. And obviously that Coach Saban's at Alabama doesn't generally miss on too many young men to start with, so that says enough about him. That tells you what kind of level of kid that he is. We just got to play our technique, and we got to make sure that our defensive ends contain, our outside backers contain when it's their responsibility to contain, and just play a perfect type ball game for us to have a chance. To be honest with you.
Is Fultondale going to throw anything different at y'all that y'all haven't seen before on defense? That's going to kind of cause y'all to try some new things on offense. What are y'all expecting out of that?
Well, you really don't know right now, and the reason why is you're only going into your third ball game, and I think they won their first their fall jamboree by 60-something to 7 or whatever the score was, and then Ohatchee played them a lot tougher last week. I think it was like 35 to 9 or 7 somewhere in that area. So it depends on how much you really hit. Coaches are known to hide stuff from one another, and so what they're going to really show up in and what they're going to really play. Our debate was, is this what he really does, or is he saving something for us? And a lot of coaches save a lot of different things, but as far as going back and what they're trying to do to us defensively, we think what we're going to see them is either some type of 40 fronts, what we're possibly going to see, but every coach has the opportunity to change and do something different.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel like y'all are developing as a team well? Are y'all finding an identity? I know in the past years y'all would be a team that would spread it around the field, throw the ball a lot, and then last year you moved to more of a run-based offense. Where do you feel like this team is progressing this year?
Well, the identity of our team depends on what kids we've had. Back 2 or 3 years ago, I had the Fettner kid, and I really didn't have one running back, and Josh Hurd. And so therefore we could very well put extra backs back there in the backfield. So we had Trey Fettner that could throw the ball extremely well, so we threw it. And we used the one-back scheme. Years previous to that, we had more backs at different times, and we've changed over the years, and that's something that we still have to do. As far as the identity of this team, I thought last year when Michael Howard entered the scene, and I think he had 1,600 yards rushing for us last year. It really helped us. Plus, we had some younger kids that are able to play in the running back position now, so we're kind of going away from the one-back set as much as what we've done in the past. But we're a little bit more run-based. But we still really don't know the identity of this team because, one, we played a jamboree game, and then we played Bowden, which was a very tough game for us. And then last week when we played Victor Christian, a lot of my younger kids got to play. So we're really still searching for that identity. My goal has always been to be able to throw it and to run it as well, and that's something that we work on each and every day because somebody's eventually going to line up putting up people in the box and stop you. Mm-hmm. So you like to be able to throw it when you want to throw it and run it when you want to, if that's possible.
Okay. We talked a little bit about how Fultondale's the first big step in region play for y'all this year. Talk about this new region that you're in. It's not that Region 5. It's like Region 5 from the last couple of years kind of got split in two, and you've got some of them playing in Randolph County's region, and y'all have got the other half. But, along with this new region, you got, like I said, Fultondale and Welborn's coming in. Explain the difficulty of this region and how it's changed from the
Well, to start with, you talk about the region split, and to start with, it really wasn't any one issue that split the region. It was one Clay County and Limeville combined the schools. In the last 3 or 4 years, it's actually been a little bit different because, we started picking up Reeltown on the net and the Fed in our region. And then now that Clay County and Limeville both went to one school now, and it just affected where the 2A schools were located. It just ended up being now that whole Region 5 is basically is destroyed. The original Region 5, because us and Ramburn were the two teams out of Region 5 that ended up going north. The line just happened to be between us and Wedowee is where the line was. Wedowee was the farthest most north team that went south, and we was the farthest south team that went north, if that makes sense. But it's drastically affected our schedule. What I mean by drastically changing, we only played 4 teams this time that we played last year. So we got 6 new folks on the schedule. And of those 4 teams, one of them was being Bowden, the other one was being Welborn that was already playing. So our region has changed a great deal. We're playing people like Fultondale, and we're picking up Pleasant Valley, and we played Victory Christian, and then we got Vincent. So teams that we're not used to playing against. Now, I know we're playing one of the top opponents. Obviously, Fultondale's ranked #1 in the state, and they're ranked there for a reason. But I just don't feel like this region is still, from top to bottom, is much of a war that you have to play every single night. Now, I'm not saying that we're not going to be in some wars, by no means. But when you get Clay County off your schedule, and Limeville off your schedule, and Reeltown off your schedule, I'd put those teams up against any Randolph County off your schedule. Far as in the region game, we're still playing Randolph County week 5. I don't say that it's any easier, but that Region 5 has always been extremely tough, and the top region in the state, in my opinion. There's some schools that you can pick out here across the state that could compete in that region, but just generally from your first team to your 8th team, it's just tough to find that type of region. But the biggest thing that has affected us is the travel. Used to a lot of these schools were local. Now we're fixing to load up and go to north of Birmingham tomorrow night, and it's a little bit of a cost factor there. I've already had to get. Probably going to cost me $3,000-4,000 just to load up and to go. So that's another factor is the travel end of the deal. But we're looking for a sure enough good ball game tomorrow night. We know how good Fultondale is. Okay.
Last question for you. What are y'all going to have to do to come away with a victory, not just Friday night, but develop as a team and make sure that y'all keep your place in the playoffs that y'all have been in the last 7 years?
Well, we hope to keep that streak alive in the playoffs. That's one of our goals every year, to make the playoffs. But the biggest thing is we feel like that we don't have quite as much depth. We either one got to create some depth, or we got to stay injury free. That's one thing that would really help us. But main thing is what we've got to do is gel like we've always done in the past, is get better each and every day, each practice, each game that we play. And I think that's a big plus to us. If we can continue to improve and stay focused on what our goals are, I think it's a possibility to make the playoffs. But it's a lot of football to be played yet.
All right, the Woodland Bobcats will travel to Fultondale to take on the top-ranked team in Class 2A Friday night. Game kicks off at 7 p.m. Coach, good luck, and I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.